I feel super naked right now. I have no idea where this video is going to go. This video isn't meant to complain. I'm not going to complain. Seriously, don't take this as complaints. I'm not complaining at all. It's not even really a rant. It's more like transparency, awareness, things like that. What's going on, everybody? My name is Danny Phantom. I own two Pokemon card stores, one English and one Japanese. We never talk about the Japanese side of things, so that's what today's video is going to be about. I'm a huge Pokemon card fan. I have been for a very, very long time, especially early on, and then like 2012, 2013, I started playing the game a lot more competitively, and then 2014, 2015, 2016, really started playing the game a lot more competitively, and had a ton of fun with it. And I really tried to figure out as I got old, and was like, well, eventually I'm going to have to settle down. I started getting a full-time job, and I was like, I'm not going to be able to travel to all these regional events. What am I going to do? How can I stay involved in Pokemon? Because if you're like me, life always gets in the way, right? Like, there's things that happen, life gets in the way, and then before you know it, you're selling off your collection. I did that a couple times. So if you've been there, I've been there. I sold off my collection twice. Once to get married and once to buy my house. Like, I had to sell it off. We didn't have the money, and it was just, that was what we had to do. And it was fine. Like, I have no regrets on it at all. But I wanted to stay involved in Pokemon because both times I sold it off, then I let other things kind of get in my way, and I lost sight of the hobby a little bit, fell out of it, and then like, I just like it. I just love the escape. I love the different people that I get to meet, the people I get to talk to, all the friends that I've made, the memories I've made along the way. It's fantastic. So I started thinking to myself, well, how can I stay involved in Pokemon? And that's when I decided to start a business. I did a lot of research. I applied for my reseller certificate. I got approved with that. And I was like, how can I buy Pokemon cards at wholesale? Then I started working with distribution, and this was like late 2015, 2016, somewhere around there, where I started really diving into things a lot more, knowing I wasn't going to be able to travel as much. And I was like, if I can stay involved in Pokemon, even if it's a business owner, or I'm constantly looking at the cards and looking at attacks and looking at what's going on in the game, what's going on with my friends as they go to events, and that will keep my interest. And the rest was history. I am very socially awkward otherwise. I don't know why adults just can't start a conversation with, what do you think Quaking Punch is the most toxic attack in Pokemon TCG history? Like, why can't we talk about that? Why do we have to talk about other things? I don't know. I don't really have a whole lot of interest, so for the most part, I'm very quiet. I don't know why I'm telling you all this stuff. I guess just to get to know me a little bit better. I own an English card store, which you've seen before. I'm gonna flip it up here. I don't have like fancy presentations, which is why I feel naked this video. Usually I have like a fancy presentation. So this is the cardcoliseum.com. Unfortunately, it is not like filled to the brim with product right now because it's impossible to get. Did you know that English distribution right now? So I got an in-stock list last week. There were 17 different items on it. You might be like, well, Fanny, that's not bad. 17 items is pretty good. And it's okay. A lot of the items were battle decks, which isn't great. Then you had like TCG Classic. You had a couple other things that were like, You had 9 items that were limited. So you could only order like 1, 2, or 3 of them. So we're talking like, you want to get a Paldean Fates ETB? Well, you can get 1, and that's it. And 11 of the 17 items were priced at market, which is tough because how are you a store? What are you supposed to do? Oh, let me buy those just to stock the shelf. Unfortunately, that's what a lot of brick and mortars have to do right now. They just have bare shelves. So they have to buy at market and probably sell a little bit above market in order to keep their shelves full of anything because there's nothing there. Now, that's not to say Pokemon won't print more. I do believe that they're just kind of going to push a lot out there all at once, but as of right now, there's nothing at Pokemon warehouses. It's just empty. So we don't have a ton of product on here. We have some, and I do have a lot of stuff I need to add, but I'll keep working through. I mean, you guys have been here before. A lot of you have recently, as last year, and we do have somebody working on this logo again now, thank goodness. We launched our Japanese Pokemon card store, and this is what I want to talk about. I want to talk about this product right here, this bad boy right here, Battle Partners. So this is going to be our Journey Together set, which a lot of people are freaking out about Journey Together, rightfully so, because of what has happened with Prismatic Evolutions, and I think people are kind of, not necessarily FOMOing, but wondering if they should FOMO. Like, wondering, like, okay, do I just pre-order? Even though a lot of stores are telling me not to because people don't have allocations out, but this store has it for MSRP. So should I just get it now, and then if they cancel me, they cancel me? Personally, I wouldn't. Allocations probably won't come out for another, 3-4 weeks yet. And then maybe you'll start getting some more information. Obviously, stay subscribed to the channel. I'll let you know as soon as allocations drop, what to look for, what to expect. But that's what this set is right here. So this set makes up some of that, not all of it. There's like Card File N, Card File Lily, there's other stuff. I don't know anything about Japanese Pokemon cards. I know a lot more now than what I did 6 months ago. We launched this store like October, November when Super Electric Breaker came out. So we've got booster boxes on here, which is pretty cool. Like we've got a lot of Japanese booster boxes on here. We got 151. We got Terrestrial Festival in here somewhere. It's not showing up on the main page. You kind of got to view all in order to find it, but we've got it on here. So there's 151. We've got a bunch of different ones. So it's like page 2 already. Holy buckets, that's crazy. So there's Terrestrial Festival. It's the last one. So you really got to dig for that one. $92.99. That's probably a little bit expensive, but we'll talk about that. That's what I want to talk about. Shiny Treasure in here for $57.99. So we got that, and then we've got like blind boxes, like the terrariums and stuff like that, which you can only get exclusively in Japan. They're a little bit more expensive because we got to ship them all over here. We've got playmats. We've got sleeves. We've got deck boxes. All this stuff gets added to the website as we get it in. Some stuff sold out, but for the most part, a decent stock, and it's easier to get stuff from Japan because you don't have distribution in Japan really, and that's really what the main thing is that I want to talk about. If you look at, we've got Sleep plush, we've got a ton of different plush with the Japanese tags on it, all exclusive stuff to Japan, which is really cool, right? And we thought, okay, well, let's open up this Pokemon card store for the Japanese market. And a lot of people ask me, hey, Fanny, why don't you do other TCGs? Why do you only do Pokemon? And that's a really good question. We have had times before where we've dabbled a little bit in Yu-Gi-Oh! I played Yu-Gi-Oh! When it first came out. I was really interested in Yu-Gi-Oh! From really the release all the way through, I would say, like Dark Revelations, Dark Beginnings. Like the reason I kind of fell out of it was because they kept reprinting these cards. And I was like, I just spent all this money on Mirror Force and Jinzo, and now you're just reprinting it. Like that's not fun for me. And then all the limits, all the limited band list, things like that. And Pokemon does that now a little bit, but not nearly as bad as like what Yu-Gi-Oh! Does. So I kind of fell out of it. Still had a little bit of interest, but it wasn't a ton. And then I did get involved in other TCGs from a collecting standpoint. I really love the Yu Yu Hakusho TCG, so I collected that a lot. The Harry Potter TCG, just because I love Harry Potter, so I collected that a lot. Dragon Ball Z, even some Magic the Gathering, other TCGs I did get involved in, but understanding the market, like the amount of time that I spend just diving into the Pokemon market is insane. It is insane to run a storefront, to always know and try to know, I'm not great at it, but always try to know what is going on. It's very difficult. So I thought, okay, well, rather than get into another TCG altogether, because we did try Yu-Gi-Oh! A little bit, but Yu-Gi-Oh's why don't we try getting into Japanese Pokemon cards? We already have friends over there. We already have suppliers and stuff that we've worked with in the past, that we've talked to in the past, good, strong relationships, but I didn't really understand the market. And that's really why I wanted to talk about the Japanese Pokemon card market, because it's a disaster and it's a mess and it's an ecosystem that works over there. But the U.S. consumer, the average U.S. consumer, doesn't really understand it at all. And I don't blame them, because I didn't understand it all. So I've seen a lot of misinformation going out there. A lot of you guys do. You're super smart. Like, you understand it way better than me. So you can let me know in the comment section down below what your understanding is. And maybe you have better advice or information that I can grow off of, because obviously, like, I want to grow my business. I want to be better at this. But Battle Partners is the set that's probably the most frustrating right now. It's very difficult to do pre-orders for Japanese sets, because distribution doesn't really exist over in Japan. So here in English, we buy products from a wholesaler. So there's different distributions, different distribution warehouses, companies that exist all throughout the United States, really all throughout the world. But you can only order, if you're a U.S. store, you can only order from U.S. distributors. So ordering from a distribution partner is fairly easy. Like, you get a resale certificate from your state. There might be other requirements that you need. Usually, wholesale distributors require you to have a website or a store of some sort. So you have to have somewhere to sell the product. You can't just buy it if you're just going to open it and that's it. Like, they're not going to sell just to collectors. You can get away with it if you're doing pack breaks and things like that, but you need to have some sort of website or advertisement to that distributor that you are moving the product to an end consumer. And that's how most of them work, at least. So you go through all that process, you get approved, and then you can buy product at wholesale, which is great for a lot of stores. It doesn't work that way in Japan. There are so many stores over there, and this is stuff that I've digested over the past several months and understood over the past several months. And it's very different. They don't really have, they do have distribution over there, but it's not really for your average storefront. So there's tons of stores over there. If you've ever been to Japan, I haven't been, but you can kind of attest to this. There's stores all over the place. Like every single block you go, like there's going to be stores over there that sell Pokemon cards, that are trying to get Pokemon cards from distribution, and distribution really doesn't work with them. Instead, they work with like the convenience stores. Like over here, what would be comparable to a 7-Eleven, they sell them, their large allocation numbers go to those stores. So that way they can kind of lock in MSRP, which is great for the market, because then you know when you buy a product, you're going to get it at MSRP. So let's talk about Battle Partners. So let's talk about Terrestrial Festival first. So Terrestrial Festival came out in the beginning of December, and people would line up at the Pokemon Center, or they would line up at a convenience store over there to buy, you know, their limit, whatever their limit might be, of Terrestrial Festival booster boxes at MSRP. If you don't know what MSRP is over there, it's like 5,400 to 5,500 yen. And the conversion rates do change on a daily basis, but the best thing, like the best way to remember it, is 1,000 yen is basically about $6.50. It's a little bit less than that, usually like $6.40, but just for basic math, $6.50. So it's roughly $35 to $40 MSRP, 30 to 35 to 40 US dollars for MSRP. So if you're buying a singular box from a storefront and you're paying, let's say, $50, that's not bad, because you figure $35 to $40 is MSRP over there, plus you factor in shipping. So shipping from Japan over to the States, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. Now, they do have regulations over there where distributors can't sell to Japan. So these big box convenience stores, places like that, Pokemon Center, they're not supposed to ship wholesale product over to the United States, which is why you have so many case premium problems. You have so many issues with cases because A, they limit their product, and B, they're not supposed to be sending them over. At least that's my understanding. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But people will line up on release day to get their hands on this product. Now, not always are they getting their hands on the product to open, which is what you see here in the US a lot, right? Like you have this mixture of people who are either buying to resell or they're buying to open. A lot of people over there are buying to resell, depending on what the market looks like and the demand looks like. So there are sets that we had, especially last year. There's a lot of sets that came out right around MSRP, and they stayed right at that because there wasn't as much demand. But now, like a set like Terrestrial Festival, for example, pre-order pricing was about 65 to 7,000 yen as far as the market goes. So if you're somebody who's waiting in line to buy a booster box of Terrestrial Festival at MSRP, you know you are going to be spending about 5,500 yen. And then you follow all these different social media outlets over there. You see all these different card stores who are posting their buy price, because that's how the card stores get their product. They're not buying from distros. They're buying from the average public. They're buying from the Joe Schmo, you know, the average people who are out there. That's who their market is. That's how they get boxes. So they're advertising, hey, we will buy Terrestrial Festival booster boxes at 6,500 yen. So they're paying, basically, you go, you buy it, and an extra 1,000 yen. So you get $6.50 USD. So if you get limited at 5, you make like $35, $40. So some people will just line up, they'll take their limit, they'll take it over to the card store, they'll collect their $40, and then they'll be on their way. And that's what they do. They make reservations to sell, to agree, and they have contractual obligations to sell to these Japanese stores. And that's how you have suppliers over in Japan who then send product over here, because they do limit. So you can't really export a ton of product from singular individuals over there, because they do limit how many people are going to purchase. Now, you do obviously have people over there that are going to take advantage. They're going to wear disguises, and they're going to bring different clothing items along so they can just get back in line and buy more limits and buy more limits, and then they move them to try and maximize as much profit as they possibly can on those products. Now you have a set like Battle Partners. So there's why is it so expensive? That's easy. Like, why is it so expensive? It's crazy. It is crazy. So our site, we did pre-orders, I think, for like $85. So we gave money to our two suppliers. I love our suppliers over in Japan. They're absolutely amazing. But we came to an agreement of like 7,000 yen a few months ago. And we have to pay for our boxes up front. Like, you have to pay up front because that locks in your reservation. So they say, okay, we'll buy however many boxes you want, and we will charge you 7,000 yen, which was just a little bit more expensive, but we knew there was going to be demand for it. And obviously, if you're following what's going on in the market being absolutely crazy, everybody over here is struggling to find English product. So then they start buying Japanese product, which well then that impacts the Japanese product. Also, the Japanese product is like a sneak peek at what we're getting in English because it comes out a few months ahead of time. So they're like, oh, I want to open up Battle Partners because then I can basically open up Journey Together early, you know, because you're pulling that Lily's Clefairy, or you're pulling the Enzorark or something really cool that you really, really want, and you're getting it basically early. It's the same artwork, just different text. Usually the condition is a little bit better because the quality is a little bit better, and the card just slaps a little bit more because the artwork's a little bit better, but you can't read it, right? So you can't use it in competitive play over here. But usually the idea is to buy it over here for like $50 because that would be close to MSRP after you factor in shipping. However, it's very difficult to do that. Now there's other YouTube channels out there that have good tutorials on all this stuff. Like Possum Bud is a genius. Like you can look to him. I'm sure he's recorded videos before about how to get product from Japan. Obviously, other storefronts are very smart and they've put out very transparent information. Kuyan's a really good one. Kuyan Collectibles, PokeNE, Sakura's Card Shop. Like you have a really good onslaught of Japanese vendors who can provide you with way better information than I can. And this is all stuff that I'm learning as I'm going. So they knew a lot of this stuff already and they communicated this stuff already. But until you're involved, you don't really understand how intense it is. So we're paying 7,000 yen per box a few months early. So it's like Terrestrial Festival comes out and then the week after that, you're like, I need to send off $25,000 in order to buy Battle Partners, which doesn't come out for a few months. A lot different than working with a US distributor because you usually don't pay until maybe release day, or maybe you have worked with distribution for a long time and you've got a net 30 system or a net 15 system going on with your invoice. Like it's just very, very different. But because they're using that money to buy the boxes, the reservations, they want to make sure that they have that. Otherwise, they're going to go broke, especially if it's in bulk purchases. So a lot of US suppliers who stock Japanese booster boxes will buy in bulk, hoping to get a discounted price, and then they'll sell over here for, 15, 10, 15, 12% markup, somewhere around there, maybe 20% if you're super lucky. But then depending on the demand of the stores, and we're going to focus on Battle Partners here. So 7,000 yen. As we got closer and closer to the release, that market price started climbing and climbing and climbing. And the way TCG Player works over here is the exact same way the market works over there. Is it's a constant race against each other for the stores. The difference is it's not a race to the bottom, it's a race to the top. So all these stores are buying boxes because they have to fulfill their orders, and all of a sudden that market price keeps climbing and climbing and climbing. So you have XYZ who's paying 7,000, and then all of a sudden ABC store is like, well, we'll pay 7,500 yen to everybody for their booster box. We'll take 10,000 booster boxes at 7,500 yen a piece. And then Elemental P store is like, okay, well, I'll take 10,000 booster boxes and I'll pay 8,000 yen per piece. And then QRS store is like, okay, well, I'll take 10,000 boxes and I'll pay 9,000 yen per piece. And this is all happening the week before release. So you have all these people who are lining up and they're like, oh man, all these people are bidding for my box right now. All these stores are trying to get our boxes right now. And the price keeps going up and up and up because they have commitments that they need to fulfill. So they're like, hey, we're going to keep raising this price until our customer over in the US tells us to stop, because if they're selling boxes at $120 for Battle Partners, well, then they can afford 15,000 yen because their margin still gets hit, and they're okay paying that amount, which drives the price up higher and higher. The other caveat with Battle Partners, and the real problem with another real problem with Battle Partners, is the box topper that comes with it. Now, this is, from my understanding, an exclusive box topper, an exclusive promo that is delivered by the Pokemon Center. But if you're lining up in Pokemon Center's store to buy Battle Partners, they give it to you separately. So it's not like it's inserted into the box. It's separate. So you all of a sudden have two pieces of currency. You have the booster box, which is worth all of a sudden 10,000 yen, and you have this Iono promo. Well, do you want this? And the stores are like, well, yeah, we'll take that as well. How much? Like, we'll pay you 3,000 yen for that, or we'll pay you 4,000 yen for that. And then all of a sudden, you've got a box in a promo that's worth 14,000 yen. And this was happening a couple days before Battle Partners even released. Well, then they release all the secret rares, and then people lose their mind. And then they're like, okay, well, we want more boxes. We want more boxes. So then all of a sudden, they're upping the price even more. And all this stuff is shared all over the place over there. So it's all over Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, where the market price is being shared all over the place. You can follow different profiles on X that will keep you updated daily with the market price from each of these stores, what they're paying. So that way you can just, if you're in Japan, you can just look and just be like, okay, well, this store in Osaka is paying 14,000 yen. So I'm gonna reserve a spot with them. I'm gonna sell my 5 boxes to them. I paid 5,400 yen for this box, and I get to sell it to this store in Japan, in Osaka, for 15,000 yen. They're also buying the promo for 3,000 yen. So basically that 5,400 yen that I just spent, that $35 to $40 USD that I just spent, I am now turning into 110, 120 US dollars by sending it over to this store in Osaka. And that's, just for lining up and buying booster packs. So it's a weird ecosystem over there, but it works. It works for them, but that is how you have all these expensive prices over here. Now, you have other outlets, obviously. You can buy from a website like Sneaker Dunk or an app like Sneaker Dunk. Usually, that is more of a race to the bottom because it's more like TCG Player, where you're going in and they're putting product out there, reputable sellers, and Sneaker Dunk does do a really good job of authenticating everything and making sure to sell you or to provide you with authentic product. But it's still a little bit sketchy. You still worry a little bit because you don't know where the product is coming from, and you've heard horror stories in the past about orange juice bottles and things like that. Or you can order directly, like there's mail forwarding services, and like I said, there's a lot of YouTube channels that will give you all the information on how to do that, but that's a lot of work, and it's a lot of extra effort, and a lot of times it doesn't work out the way that you want it to, because then there's delays and things like that. So, and it's also going to limit you. You're only going to be able to get 1 box or 2 boxes or 3 boxes or something like that. And if you're somebody who's like, I want to open up 7, 8, 9, 10 boxes for this, or you're somebody who's like, I don't want to go through all that rigmarole, I just want to be able to buy a few boxes as quick as I possibly can, then all of a sudden you're starting to see these premiums. And as long as stuff is moving, so we took our pre-order for Battle Partners down. As soon as the market price came in and it was like, okay, we're buying boxes, we can buy them for 13, the market price right now is 13,000 yen, we can go up to 13,500 to provide you with your boxes. And we're like, no, we're out. We're just going to take what we can to fulfill pre-orders, and we're going to lose a little bit of money, and that's fine. We'll wait for the next wave, for the next reprint, and that'll be that. And there's supposed to be another wave already next week, where the first wave of Battle Partners was kind of split up into 2. So you got like some of the product that came out on the 24th, and then there'll be additional product that gets released on the 1st. And then according to Poke Beach, like there's a reprint that's supposed to come in the middle of February. Will it impact the price? Maybe. Maybe it won't. Terrestrial Festival has been reprinted a few times and didn't impact the price really. But that's because the demand continues to soar, not only in Japan, but over here as well, because there's not any English product to buy. So it's like a perfect storm. It is like this perfect storm of everything that's going on, which is driving up these prices. But a lot of people don't understand how it works. And a lot of people are like, well, it's just greed, which it is. It is greed, but it's not like the greed targeted at the right. You're not targeting your greed theory at the right people. Like that's not how, it's not always as black and white as what you might think. It's not like, oh, well, Sakura's Card Shop, which is charging $90 for Battle Partners. I think that's what they were at, which is an amazing price. Even though the fact is double MSRP, it's an amazing price. Like they're just greedy. They're just greedy but that's not the case. They're not greedy. They just can't get the product any cheaper. He's probably making, I don't even know. I don't know what he's making. That 7% margin, 8% margin. Once you factor in shipping, once you factor in fees, and you look at how money is being transferred over to another country, then you have to worry about additional fees and things like that. Not to mention the whole trust factor. There is a lot that goes into it. And then you also have to factor in the time difference. So a lot of people have commented like, Fanny, you look tired. Yeah, heck yeah, I'm tired. They're 12, 14 hours ahead of us. So when it's midnight here, it's 1 o'clock over there. Like I need to stay up. I need to have phone calls at 12, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., depending on what the market price is doing over there, so you know what to buy or when to buy it. And once these boxes are gone from the Pokemon Center, like, it's tough to find. So then the stores are like, hey, okay, well, now we're buying Ruler of the Black Flame at 8,000 yen because we're out. And then all of a sudden the market price climbs on those, but they're out of print or they're out of stock. They could get reprinted again. But all this stuff that Pokemon Center was carrying that was because the distribution system is so broken over there, like storefronts don't have the opportunity to restock at decent price points. So the English market could very well go that way. Like it is possible that the English market could go that way. The distribution system is completely different over here. But storefronts could start being like, hey, all right, all the Sword and Shield boxes are gone, so we will buy all of them at this price. We'll buy up to 100 boxes. And maybe there are some storefronts that do that, and then you have the opportunity, if you're sitting on some, to kind of move off of them. But it is crazy how it all works over there. And that is my understanding. And I just wanted to keep everybody aware of how it all works and be completely transparent. So that way you understand, like, we charged $85 or something, and then we charged $109.99, I think, when we were under the impression that maybe we would find them at 13,000 yen, and then all of a sudden it went up a little bit more, and we're like, okay, well, this $109.99 is already too expensive. Like, we don't even feel comfortable asking that much because that's 3 times MSRP. Even though we're not profiting anywhere near that, we're profiting like 10%. Like, we don't feel comfortable doing that. And a lot of you guys do understand that, but a lot of people don't. And those are the loud people. The people who don't understand are the loudest, who are really, really angry at the system. And you have every right to be angry at the system, but you also have to understand the biggest flaw that we have as a community is thinking that our opinion is the only one that matters, and our opinion is the only one that's correct. So we can't do that. Like, as much as I love collecting Pokemon cards, as much as I love playing Pokemon cards, playing the TCG, I want to let you guys know it's fun to play, but you might hate it, and that's okay. Like, if you hate it and it's not for you, that's okay. If you have no interest in it, that's okay. If you have no interest in the artwork, you just want to make money, like that's your thing. It's not, I don't agree with it, but that's your thing. You go for it. Like, I think that's whatever your happy is, that's fine. Somebody commented the other day, like, what if scalping is somebody's happy place? Okay. Be happy. Whatever it is that makes you happy, that's fine. That's what Pokemon is all about. Like, it's all about these different types. It's all about these different everything. Like, be different. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But we also have to be accepting of that. But we also have to be understanding of that everything's going to be different. We're allowed to have our own opinions. We're allowed to disagree with stuff. But when you're vocal and you're threatening and you get really, really loud and you're trying to bully or demean, that's just when it gets too far. And I think that's kind of what is going to happen. It's not really a big issue right now, but it's kind of the path we're going down if things continue to go this way. And it's unfortunate because we just need more cards. Like, there just needs to be more printed, and then that, I think, will help a lot of this. So I'm gonna stop rambling. But that's as transparent as I can be, and that's what I've digested over the last 6 months of really starting to kind of dip my toes in the Japanese market. It's absolutely nuts, and I could be way off base. And it would be wonderful if somebody was like, hey, Fanny, you're dumb. Like, let's talk. Let's talk about how you can fix this. You want to pay 7,000 yen for a booster box? Great. Let's make that happen. If you're going to buy 1,000 booster boxes at 7,000 yen, okay, I can make that happen for you. You just need to work deeper into the system. Like, I don't know. Like, this is just what I've uncovered, and this is just how far I've gotten so far. Somebody could be in way, way deeper and have a much better understanding, and then I implore you to let me know, so that way we can kind of fix the way things are. But as of right now, this is what my understanding is. This is why prices are so nuts, because the demand just continues to climb. There's no English product, so people are going for Japanese product. Storefronts continue to buy out product at higher prices because they can't get it at lower prices, but they have commitments that they're obligated to, and it's just a mess. It's just a disaster. But it is what it is right now. So we digress. We move on. We have fun. We're not complaining. We're just being transparent. That's all that is. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please hit that subscribe button down below. Leave a like, leave a comment. It goes a long way. You have to be subscribed to win the Prismatic Evolutions Master Set anyway, so you might as well do it now if you're not already. Hopefully we'll have that done in a few weeks, and then we can give it away to one lucky subscriber. So thanks for everything. I love you guys. We'll be back again on Tuesday with another video. Till next time, peace.